Good morning to all of you. Welcome back to the program agenda. We have survived Typhoon Jolina, and hopefully, we here in Batangas won't have to get the second Typhoon Kiko, pero hindi po tayo nakakasiguro. So we will just keep on praying. As you can tell from the background, it's sunny, pero kahapon po, yesterday, we were very concerned because of the strong winds and non-stop rain, and we still don't have electricity because in our part of the city of Lipa, a number of trees fell, and we have no electricity now running on, I think, about 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken. We've had no electricity, but we will continue with the program thanks to the generator, courtesy of my dear departed friend Dominic Sitin and his brothers Romel and Kenneth. Okay, let's go to the program today. It is September 9. 2021. It's a Thursday. Be thankful for your good health. If you were spared by the typhoon, we will now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. And there you go. There you have it. Lacson Soto tandem launch. The candidacy of Senator Sping Lacson for president and Senator Tito Soto was launched yesterday virtually, and it is now official that they are running for president and vice president respectively in 2021. Lacson called out to the citizens, to the voters, to be very careful with with choosing their next president, because the next administration will be facing even bigger challenges than the current administration. And he also emphasized what President Rodrigo Duterte said in his last State of the Nation address, that running the presidency or running the country is a greater responsibility than running Davao City. And back to the front page. At the top of the front page, we have PDP Laban proclaims Rodi for vice president. Go not interested. In their caucus or meeting yesterday, the PDP Laban Kusi faction nominated and chose President Rodrigo Duterte as vice president for 2022 candidate. On the meantime, Senator Bongo said, isa lang po akong probinsyanong ginawa ninyong senador. That honor by itself is enough, and that he would like to concentrate on his duties and responsibilities as a senator. Okay, and below that headline or that header, Jolina, Kiko bring floods, vaccination classes suspended. We'll get an update from our first guest this morning from the NDRRMC. And we will find out what the extent was. Okay, Rodi defends a new COVID supply deal or COVID supply deals. According to President Rodrigo Duterte, the procurement of COVID-19 supplies, including face masks and PPEs, was above board. In a taped public address aired yesterday morning, Duterte repeated his attacks against senators, particularly Richard Gordon, chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee. Okay, I myself say this: there was no corruption, the president said, reiterating that he was the one who ordered the DOH to do away with the bidding process, as this is allowed under the law during calamities and crises. Okay. And on the second half of the front page, Isko or Mayor Isko Moreno of the city of Manila slams Duterte and says, "See you in October." Hindi pala "see you in September" ang kanta niya. "See you in October." Okay, the mayor of Manila expressed his irritation with the president or with his cabinet, and referred to them as people living in Disneyland, therefore unrealistic regarding their policies and management of the COVID-19 pandemic. Don't think of me as mayor, think of me as citizen, your constituent, a taxpayer of this country. Please buy remdesivir. Please buy tocilizumab. All of you government agencies, unquote. Okay, yan po. Si Mayor Isko Moreno, mainit na ang ulo because many hospitals in the city of Manila, including the government hospitals, have been running short of medicines for patients infected by COVID-19. Okay, as far as new COVID cases are concerned, the recent tally of Philippine cases, 12,751. Yan, maganda po. Parang biglang bumaba. From 22, it went down to almost one half, more than one half. But unfortunately, I picked up a article where it says that some of the facilities for reporting was out of service, so baka hindi accurate. So, but in any case, as far as deaths go, mga namatay, 174 people died yesterday. On the brighter side of things, Century Pacific and RFM in Forbes Asia under 1 billion list. Ano po ba yan? Okay, the Philippines Century Pacific Food Inc. and RFM Corporation made it to the Forbes Asia's best under a billion list for 2021 roster of 200 top performing publicly listed small and mid-sized companies in the Asia-Pacific region with sales under 1 billion. Kumbaga, in other words, Century Pacific and RFM were profitable businesses or corporations, and they made it to that list. Okay. Below that story, if you will notice, may makikita kayong automatic center on the front page, lower left hand, lower left ear of the Philippine Star. Automatic center after being in existence from 1948. Yung bang nagtitinda ng appliance, okay? Nagsara na po. They have declared, or well, they've sent out a letter from their CEO that after decades of service to the Filipino people, they have to raise their hands up because tinalo sila ng COVID-19. It has become impossible to sustain the business, and of course, the mode of business has changed. So, ayun, wala nang automatic center in the coming years, and they are still looking for someone who might be interested to buy the company. Okay. And of course, there you go. We have on the other side of the front page, Pacquiao to Rodi, don't defend the corrupt. Senator Manny Pacquiao yesterday urged President Duterte to refrain from defending his appointees accused of corruption. My request to the President is let us do our work in the Senate. my request is he should not defend his people who are under investigation because of alleged corruption, says Senator Manny Pacquiao. Okay, and that's the front page and the news in the Philippine Star today. And our quote for the day, matapos tayong mag-survive sa bagyong Jolina, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge, my fortress, my God in whom I trust. That is from Psalms 91:2. And for those of you who were blessed, protected, survived, and thrived during the typhoon yesterday, and sa mga darating pang bagyo, kilalanin po natin, let us give glory to God every time we have, because that is what sustains us. Kami po dito talaga. I just want to share this. I've said this in the past programs. I said, cut down the sabi ko, trim the trees, okay? Kumbaga, talbosan ninyo yung mga puno sa mga paligid ninyo. We did that 2 weeks ago. We started doing that 2 weeks ago up to what's today? Thursday, up to Monday, Tuesday, nagtatalbos pa kami ng mga puno. We were pruning our trees. If we did not prune our trees, I would probably be now off air and changing my roof. Okay, so thank God for that wisdom. I hope all of you out there will start doing the same. Lalo na Jolina is the first big typhoon to hit us directly, lalo sa Metro Manila. Paghandaan nyo po. Okay, let's go to our first interview. We have Mark Timbal, a regular, a spokesperson of the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council or NDRRMC. Eto na naman tayo, Mark. Pero mukhang good news naman kasi I heard you last night giving a briefing that there were fishermen who were supposedly missing but were found, they were recovered, and mukhang marami namang buhay. Mark.
Good morning, Sir Cito. Actually, sir, we're still confirming those conflicting reports pa po eh.
Mhm.
Marami tayong fishermen na missing daw po ngayong panahon na ito dahil one, we're confirming the 12 missing fishermen, the status of the 12 missing fishermen dyan sa Catbalogan, Samar. Kasi kahapon, some reports were saying that they've been rescued already, all of them. But
Mhm.
others were saying that it's still ongoing, the search and rescue. So we're confirming it today with our regional council counterparts para ma-check natin kung kamusta na talaga sila. And then we also have another 14 missing fishermen from Masbate. There's an ongoing search and rescue operation for these fishermen. Naabutan po ata sila ng bagyo sa Laot. And then there's another 5 in Marinduque who were actually taking shelter na pero naabutan pa rin ng sama ng panahon and this caused na mag-capsize daw po yung boat nila. These 5 are still being the search and rescue operations to find this are still ongoing. We were informed of a potential fatality. One of that 5 daw po ay nakita na, but we're still waiting for the complete report on that one. Kaya po this morning wala pa tayong publication po talaga ng casualties. We also received report that near your neighborhood, sir, in Laurel, Batangas, nagkaroon daw po ng landslide po diyan. At there's another potential fatality. Meron daw po isang kababayan tayo inside a small building ata or house na natabunan daw po. But we're still waiting for the complete report so that we can see the details of these instances.
Yeah, Mark, mga kaibigan, please do not fault our fishermen because pag sinabi ni Mark pong laot, it is not 1 or 2 kilometers off the shore. When they say laot, this is out at sea. and it takes a long time paglaot. I remember the last time nagpalaot ako, okay? I was quite much younger. It was between Marinduque and Quezon. So malayo-layo po 'yon, kahit na madinig mo sa radyo at pumalik ka na, eh matagal po. It takes a while to get back. So these people, these fishermen, we should all be praying for them. Anyway, Mark, I just noticed based on the reports that previously, in past typhoons, yung mga lugar na familiar ako, mababa lang ang baha. Low, they'd be ankle deep, knee deep. But I heard one in Calaca ba yun, and some other provinces, they were neck deep. And then here in Lipa itself, before Jolina arrived, we had rain the entire night, and I'm talking about full shower. Okay, hindi yung pawisik-wisik, talagang
Heavy
buhos,
rains
ano?
talaga, sir. Yes,
Heavy
sir.
rains talaga. What was Jolina really destructive?
So far, sir, the damage assessment is still ongoing. We're looking at the possibility na yung mga provinces in the eastern side of the Philippines, yung sumalubong talaga nung typhoon grade pa itong si Jolina, encountered, yan po talaga siguro yung mga worst hit. However, we saw that after the storm, mabilis po yung pagkilos ng ating mga power cooperatives and the NGCP. That's why in Eastern Visayas and also in Masbate, power restoration efforts continue, and the provinces are already being energized. So far, we encountered a report of 24 damaged houses as a result of Jolina. But Jolina po kasi hindi siya nung nag-signal number 3 po siya when approaching the Philippines and hitting Eastern Visayas and the eastern part of Bicol. Pero nung
Mhm.
tumatawid na po siya nitong area nearing Luzon, medyo nag-reduce po itong si Jolina, kaya hindi po actually ganun katindi ang
Yeah.
expectation natin. But the storm itself left the usual damages, yung mga natumbang puno, mga slight na landslides, uh, that
So,
sort of.
okay, the typhoon itself was diminished because normally we grade typhoons on wind speed or,
That's
or,
correct, sir.
or gustiness, but it doesn't really reflect the amount of rain. You already mentioned landslides in certain parts. Ano yung mga areas na are now at risk for landslide because umulan ng umulan?
Yes, sir. We have, ito po mga mountainous areas natin, lalo na sa Calabar Zone, meron yan po, we have a warning po for all the local governments to monitor these areas. We heard that there was a rock slide incident dyan po sa Rizal area. So this is an evidence of those possible hazards occurring in those areas. We're also monitoring the situation in the Cordilleras, kasi yan talaga landslide prone po yung mga lugar na yan. Part of the monitoring is pati yung mga flood prone areas. Given na, sir, nagsimula na yung mga pagdating ng bagyo and we're already encountering floods, this could be parang premonitory na kapag nagsunod-sunod na ulit yung mga bagyo, baka mas hindi lang ankle deep yung ma-encounter do sa ibang mga communities, given that mga flood prone areas na din sila. We are fast tracking po yung mga pag-aayos ng mga drainage niyan through the local governments, and we are checking if the flood control facilities in those areas are still working in good shape para ma-control po natin yung mga flooding situations.
Okay, now as far as response teams are concerned, I presume that they're all pre-positioned
That's
already in
correct, sir.
place. Yeah. Now, will we be back to normal in most places within the next 24 hours?
Not yet, sir. we had a meeting at the NDRRMC yesterday, and there's a projection that Typhoon Kiko may reach super typhoon levels. So all local governments here in Luzon have been warned, not just the extreme northern Luzon LGUs, of the possible effects of Typhoon Kiko. So we are prepositioning both supply of relief items as well as our rescue teams and equipment for that purpose. Posible din magkaroon pa tayo ng mga scattered rain showers and thunderstorms across Luzon and Visayas and Mimaropa. So we're also informing our local governments to continue the usual vigilant monitoring of the local situations.
Okay, when you say extreme northern Luzon, extreme Luzon and northern Luzon, kami ba sa southern Luzon or Calabar zone, are we going to be substantially affected by Typhoon Kiko if it makes landfall? Kasi tinamaan na kami kahapon.
Yeah.
People would want to know whether we're going to have to fight round two.
So far, sir, based sa projections ni Pag-asa, we're going to experience relatively fairer weather starting today and then tomorrow and over the weekend. But there's an expectation of rains pa rin because the storms, both Jolina and Kiko, may still affect the current weather systems here. Nakahabagat mode pa rin naman tayo, sir. So still, we're expecting some rains every now and then.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it at that, Mark, because I know you guys are busy. But thank you for the updates, and please keep us posted if there are urgent reminders or announcements to be made. We are at your disposal. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Sir Cito. Good morning. Ingat po tayo palagi.
Same to you. Okay, yan po si Mark Timbal. He is the spokesperson of the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council, or NDRRMC. And then now, as part of our day's agenda, let us now go to our next guest, the Pinoy Aksyon for Governance and Environment. Pinoy Aksyon is a non-profit organization and think tank that promotes the rule of law, dialogue, and preservation of democratic space. These independent organizations' campaigns include promotions of clean and efficient renewable energy, climate change, and transparent and accountable governance. In connection with that last particular campaign, yung transparent and accountable governance, the Pinoy Aksyon recently came out in the news filing complaints or charges against presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, Department of Tourism Bernadette Romulo Puyat, Congressman Ronnie Zamora, San Juan Mayor Zamora, and others for violating matters related to the quarantine, etc., etc. Its convenor, Bencyrus Ellorin, is a former journalist with around 30 years of experience in strategic communications. Let's bring in Mr. Ellorin.
Good morning, Cito, at good morning sa lahat na nakapanood ngayon sa programa mong agenda.
Okay, good morning, Bencyrus. Medyo you got people's attention. Yung action, your group got people's attention, Pinoy Aksyon, because of those cases you filed. Now, how did this happen? Paano ba nangyari to? I'm not, medyo people are still trying to figure it out. What's this all about?
Kasi pagod na tayo, Cito, sa scandals, controversies erupting in the media every now and then. And then after a week or two, another batch of controversies and scandals replace it. Then yung nauna are forgotten na nawawala na sa public conversation. So, to cut that, we hope that we cut that vicious cycle by invoking a rule of law na kung may na-violate naman talaga, dalhin natin sa proper forum, in hopes that justice should be served. Ito ay public violations, mabigyan ng hustisya yung mamamayan. Yun yung unang pakay namin. And it's also a call to action na it's our responsibility and civic duty to hold to account our public officials. At pangalawa, at this time of pandemic, napaka-importante yung truth-telling. Kaya yung isang kaso natin is for violation of the Bayanihan Hill as One Act provision on false information, spreading false information.
Okay, now, Bencyrus, I hope you understand. You're a journalist, and if the positions were changed, you will probably be asking the same question. Are you in any way with political color? Kasi pag tiningnan yung mga line-up, mukha namang lahat tinamaan eh. So may mga nagtatanong, ano ba ito? Talagang they're just fed up with all of these politicians. What is the ultimate goal? Are you aligned?
Yung reaction hindi. Meron naman tayong mga personal biases, yung mga statements natin, pwedeng ma-interpret this way or that way, but yung Pinoy Action is independent and tama ka, sinabi mo, we did not consider political color or leanings in fight of the case. Kaya ka lang, may limitation kami, hindi talaga lahat. Kaya, as I said, this is also a call to action for others to do the same.
Okay, when you filed cases, I without any political bias, kasi some are my friends, some are not my friends, okay? Doon sa mga kinasuhan ninyo. But how did you go about listing all of this? Ito ba, matagal na ba kayo naglilista ng mga atraso?
Yes, may mga volunteers din tayo na nagsasubmit ng mga lista at saka evidences. Then we came out to this. Gusto pa namin mas marami pero we need to start the ball rolling na kasi alam mo, malapit na September between now and September 5, I think, would be puro politika na pag-usapan.
Okay, go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
Nadili lang ito ng mga almost a month dahil yung may din tayo problema sa COVID na quarantine tayo. Kaya na-delay ito ng almost a month yung filing.
Okay, what do you hope to achieve, and can you explain, kasi hindi pa masyadong malinaw sa mga tao. For those of you who are watching the program, baka nagtataka kayo why we showed presidential spokesperson Harry Roque walking along Boracay Beach and in Subic Bay. Harry Roque was the first in the list of people that were charged by Bencyrus's group, Pinoy Aksyon. Pero paano ninyo pinroses ito? Kasi sabi mo nga, hindi lahat nasali. Bakit inuna lahat itong mga taon to?
Indubitably, yung prominence has its effect. Sa amin naman, walang number 1, number 2, pero we understood and we expected that when this comes out, the more prominent personalities will be in the lead or the umpisa ng mga anggulo ng mga storya na lalabas.
Okay, now... Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Kasi ang kuha naman natin dito is understandable talaga na magagalit yung tao kasi while yung mga masa hinuhuli, iba nga binabaril sa mga checkpoints dahil lang sa face mask, face shield. Ito naman mga official natin, pasyal ng pasyal. Parang they are flaunting their power and acting as if they are beyond the control or the hold of the law.
Okay, Ben, I'm sure that if this ever picks up traction, alam mo naman ang media and how the news is picked up, as a former journalist. If this ever picks up traction, people, those defendants or those people you have charged will probably say, everything was in performance of my duty. Pumunta ako sa Boracay kasi ina-assess namin ang Boracay. That would be Harry Roque's defense. The Tourism Secretary Romulo would say, I brought my daughter, and she already actually said it, following guidelines. And then, sino pa ba? Oh, Congressman Zamora, I remember he defended himself by saying, well, my doctor said that I am immunocompromised even after 2 vaccines, so I needed a booster shot. And as you know, scientifically speaking, medically speaking, that is what many of the experts are now saying, kailangan nila ng booster shot, especially guys na may organ transplant. I think with, sino ba yun, yung anak niya, si Mayor Francis Zamora, you do know na yung kanyang asawa was fighting cancer, and they went to the family residence in Baguio to rest, and their only violation was yung dalawang security nagsiga-siga at hindi nagpapara sa checkpoint sa Baguio. How will you react to that?
In the performance of duties, oo, pero wala namang sinasabi doon na do not follow protocols. Klaro naman yung batas natin na before anyone could be administered any drugs, kailangan ng kahit emergency use authorization ng FDA. Dito kay Congressman Zamora, wala tayo nakikita na, kasi nauna pa siya sa roll-out ng National Vaccination Program eh. Tungkay sa anak niya, pwede ba bisita sa Baguio, pero hindi naman kasali doon yung pag-disregard sa quarantine checkpoints, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yung sinasabi natin, kasi napaka-stricto, like yung iba doon, may binabaril, may binamaul, yung iba, hindi unimaginable delays yung na-experience doon sa mga checkpoints. So, okay yun, check, pero dapat matas. Walang special dapat. Dapat yung nasa... sige, Cito. Yung nasa power, yung dapat sila yung example, dapat this should follow the law to the letter. Understanding naman tayo for circumstances, pero ito nakikita natin parang flaunting talaga of power.
Okay. We'll go for a quick break, Ben. And when we come back, may mga magsasabing, baka naman nagpapapansin yung Pinoy Aksyon. And I would like for you to address that, okay? Because I am sure you're a journalist. I'm sure they will use that against you. Let's go for a quick break, Ben. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, let's welcome back our second guest for today, Bencyrus, Gerona, Ellorin, convener Pinoy Aksyon for Governance and the Environment. Okay, Bencyrus, people might say that, good, nag-file sila ng kaso, etc. Pero baka naman nagpapapansin lang yan, baka may plano yan for the next election, etc., etc. What's your reaction to that?
Siguro may anomaly sa pag-iisip ng marami. Kasi this is a civic duty. Even the Constitution says that people should participate in government. Kung may plano, uh, these things should be pansinin, should be in the attention of the people rather than focusing on the personalities behind. Ayoko nang patulan yung mga ganon kasi ito ang dapat pansinin ng mga tao na ito mga issues na ito.
Okay, will you be able to afford this o meron bang sasalo nitong mga kasong to? Kasi I'm sorry Ben, I'm really ignorant as far as this kind of court cases are concerned. But normally, when you file a case against someone, you need to get a lawyer, you need to pay filing fees, appearances, etc. Kayo ba sa Pinoy Aksyon, meron ba kayong maraming voluntary lawyers?
Yung lawyer natin dito, mga volunteers, wala namang filing fee sa ombudsman. Ito po yun, Cito. Yung ombudsman, when you file there, they act as parang prosecutor. Dalawa yung puntahan ng kaso, either administrative at saka may criminal. Iba-iba po yung quantum of proof na kailangan sa administrative at saka sa criminal. At may pangatlo, once this gets to the office of the ombudsman can exercise its power to investigate. Pwede pong magsa-start sila on their own will, their own investigation and gather evidences. So, while we will continue gathering evidences like testimonial evidences for this, not intelligence sources, but the ombudsman can itself, if it finds merit, do the fact-finding and file appropriate cases, either sa Digabayan or go into a full administrative trial.
Okay, Ben, I'm just wondering because I just saw this notes regarding the cases you filed, and some of them were in 2020. The violations were committed, particularly Harry Roque went swimming with the dolphins in February 2020. Diving in Boracay in February 2021. July pala yung Boracay, yung Dolphins, that was in July 2020. Pagkatapos yung sa Boracay 2021. Medyo I don't know about statutes of limitations, etc. Pero why only now? Bakit ngayon lang kayo nag-file ng mga kaso regarding all of this? And mind you, hindi lang naman sila Zamora, Romulo Puyat, and Roque. Ang dami ninyong dinali. Si Debold Sinas, Antique Governor Cadyao, Bukidnon Governor Josubiri, Abra Governor Maria Bernas, Mayors Jerry Tanawan of Talisay, Batangas, etc. etc. Medyo, bakit, ano ito, pinakyaw ninyo, kanya natagalan i-file?
Yes, if only to show that we're not choosing who as long as may nakuha tayo, may nag-submit ng proof. Yun nga, we even hope to file another batch of cases as deemed kung makompleto na yung documentation.
Okay, now what do you hope to achieve with this? Do you sincerely believe, and I'm not trying to discourage you, if anything, congratulations. Ang tapang ninyo, and as you pointed out, you are doing your civic duty, something that many Filipinos have forgotten. Okay, na lahat tayo may civic duty, to obey the law and see to it that the law is implemented. But do you seriously believe something will happen that the ombudsman will pick this up, given, alam mo na, sobrang politika na ngayon. There's so much politics that even the ombudsman is being doubted, lalo na pagdating sa mga SALN issues.
I understand the cynicism, Cito, but while we're at this, we have to try at least to make our systems work. Kasi it would be very sad. It would be utter hopelessness kung isipin natin na things will not really work. But at least we try, and uh, we are very optimistic that something will come out of this.
When you say we, how many people are part of Pinoy Aksyon? Are you a group of civic organizations, clubs, whatever, or tao lang ba, and how many?
Mga individuals, siguro ang iba nasa gobyerno ngayong iba kaya hindi pwedeng lumabas. Siguro yung mga fellows namin nasa mga 20, 30 mga
Mhm. So,
professionals.
oh,
Mostly
oh,
nasa development work, mga former NGO workers, mga ganun.
okay, there's a question here. Meron na bang lumapit sa inyong mga abogado de arreglo, mga bomberong public relations? You know what I'm talking about because you're a former journalist. Alam mo naman, pag sinabing may bombero, these are usually PR specialists who are trying to put out the fire. Has anyone reached out to you regarding these cases?
Wala naman po, at saka I hope not kasi I will not entertain them.
Okay, and what about people who want to grab and take ownership of the battle or the fight that you are in?
Wala pa naman. Kung meron, we will assess the sincerity of the kung gusto tumulong. Welcome naman, pero we have to go through the rigmarole of knowing each other and intentions.
Okay, well, Bencyrus, thank you very much for your time this morning. And I hope that we will be speaking with each other in the future, especially because I just saw na you guys also are active for, climate change policies, etc. Medyo, I think that is something that has to be discussed in Philippine media because of what's been happening all over the world. Anyway, Ben,
Yes,
any last words?
yes, ganito, yung sa tutok ngayon ng Pinoy Action is really to advocate truth-telling dito sa pandemic. Kaya sinali namin tong mayor ng uh, No Noveleta, Cavite, na who allegedly spread pictures of PUIs, persons under investigation for COVID na hindi naman pala totoo, and saying na isang namatay dun sa Cavite only to use it as a weapon, political weapon para sirain yung isang local government. Sana wag natin gamitin weapon sa politika itong COVID kasi marami po namamatay. Ako namamatayan ako ng ina dahil sa COVID. Kaya siseryosohin namin to na will advocate truth-telling and call out falsities being spread by people in this time of pandemic.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear about that, Bencyrus. Clearly, losing a loved one to COVID makes you invested. Being threatened by COVID makes you invested. And
Yes.
when people violate what many of us are forced or voluntarily follow, it is a slap in our face that we really should not take sitting down. Okay, thank you very much, Ben Cyrus. More power to you, and may God protect you in your fight against all of these violations. God bless.
Salamat Sito. Platforms like this, we need these platforms and give us more encouragement. Kayo din, stay safe and God bless.
Okay. That, our ladies and gentlemen, was our second guest, Bencyrus Gerona Ellorin. And ayun po, no, now you understand bakit sila invested. Pag kayo nga naman, if you lose someone, especially your mother dies from COVID-19, and you are forced to stay at home because of COVID-19. And then you see the people who are supposed to be the first in obeying health protocols and quarantine restrictions and just, respecting the law. Well, medyo may dahilan silang magalit dyan sa Pinoy Aksyon. Okay, now let's move forward to our third and final guest for the day, our agenda for today. Medyo ako ay lulutang ako sa usapan na ito because it is about space. The final frontier. Okay. Franz de Leon is director of the Department of Science and Technology, Advanced Science and Technology Institute, or DOST-ASTI. He is also associate professor from the Electrical and Electronics Engineering Institute of the University of the Philippines in Diliman. He graduated BS Electronics and Communications Engineering and Masters of Science in Electrical Engineering in 2003 and 2005. Tama na. Tama na. Okay, sige na, sama na natin. May PhD pa pala in Electronic and Electrical Engineering at the University of Southampton in United Kingdom, 2014. Okay. Paano ba ang title mo? Di, Professor, Director, Scientist de Leon. Sir, good morning.
Good morning po, Sir Cito, and thank you for having me in your show.
Okay, well, I'm really glad that although this was not my agenda, I'm really glad that our executive producer set up this interview because it tells us that the DOST, I was actually just thinking of the DOST this morning. Sabi ko mukhang yung DOST malinis ang ilong. They have kept their nose clean from all of these scandals that's been happening in media right now, no, on the front pages. So anyway, and now it's good to know that the DOST is represented by experts, real scientists such as you. Okay, now, Franz, can you tell us about this thing that you guys are doing? Baka ma-nosebleed lang ako, no? So I'll give you the floor na. Diyan sa ASTI, meron daw kayong mga space program, etc. Ano ba ano yung PH Cube, Maya 3, and Maya 4? You have the floor, Professor.
Alright po. Salamat po, Sir Cito. Good morning po sa lahat ng viewers po natin. Yeah. So the Advanced Science and Technology Institute is one of the RDIs, Research and Development Institutes of the Department of Science and Technology. So among the many RDIs, yung ASTI po, ang focus niya is more about ICT, and microelectronics, so information and communication technology. Probably many Filipinos are not quite familiar with ASTI. Siguro po among the DOST agencies, ang pinakasikat of course are Pag-asa and FIVOX. Sila po yung laging laman natin almost every day sa news. But we have other institutions like ASTI who's developing solutions and applications in the field of ICT and microelectronics. Now, let me focus on the space development. Now, who would have thought, di ba 10 years ago, kaya po ba ng mga Pilipino na makagawa ng sarili nilang satellite? And because of the great opportunity, the support of the government and the different academic institutions, nagawa po natin siya. So over the last few years, we are building our capacity. Pinakauna na po yung of course, yung human capacity. Yun naman po yung foundation ng lahat. We can have the best hardware, software, pero kung wala pong Pilipino na marunong mag-operate at mag-design po ng satellites, bali wala rin po yung lahat ng efforts na ito. Now, as you have learned in August 29, we have launched Maya 3 and Maya 4. So these are nano satellites. Maliliit lang po sila, let's say 10 by 10 by 10 centimeters. Ano po. So tulad po nung nakikita po sa video. So this is just one of the satellites from different countries na pinadala po natin. Ano po yung capability ng nano satellite? Baka inisip nyo, teka, nano satellite, napakalit ito. Ano po bang magagawa nito? Well, number one, yung nano satellite, ginagawa po siya para po mag-gain pa po ng confidence and capability yung mga Filipino engineers po natin. It's more about capacity building. So there are limited capacity. For example, meron pong nilagay na let's say, technical NIR, near infrared camera, just to observe the Earth. And then naglagay din po ng some communication devices. Parang ano lang po siya, proof of concepts. So those are Maya 3 and Maya 4. At the same time, of course, in the past, we have already launched Diwata 1, our microsatellite, a 50-kilogram microsatellite, which was decommissioned last year. And then currently we still have Diwata 2, active pa rin po siya. So those are just some of the space developments. Now, pupunta po tayo sa ASTI. Ano pong ginagawa ng ASTI? Kasi marami pong institutions that collaborate.
Sir,
po.
time out. Para lang kasi alam mo, marami tayo, sabi nga ni Bencyrus masinisim, no? Mga cynical, no? Yung pinakita nating video ng rocket ship, nakikita mo yung tanda ko, rocket ship pa no? O shuttle, okay? Doon tayo nakiangkas, umangkas tayo doon para mapadala yung ating mga nano satellites, yung mga maliliit na satellite. And ito naman pong mga ginawa ninyong nano-satellite ay yung po...
Napunta tayo sa facilities sa ASTI po mismo. Probably familiar po kayo sa malalaking antenna, like yung malalaking satellite dish, So sa mga tahanan, of course, kung meron po kayong, let's say,
Signal
satellite
TV.
dish, ayun. Signal, ayan po, Signal TV, of course, palakihin po natin siya. Palakihin po natin siya ng malaki, let's say 3.7 meters, yung diameter po niya, ganun po kalapad, ilagay po natin sa tuktok ng building namin dito sa Quezon City. Yun po ang isa sa facility. Sa tawag po doon ay GRS or Ground Receiving Station. Siya po yung tenga at bibig natin sa pakikipag-usap sa different satellites. And sa Pilipinas, actually, meron na po tayong 3. Nauna na po itong nasa Quezon City. Na-install po siya noong 2016. We also have one in Davao. Siya po yung pinakamalaki. Just imagine, yung lapad po niya is around 7.3 meters. So siya po yung pinakamalaki sa Pilipinas. And then we are also working on the 3rd ground receiving station sa Iloilo. So mapapansin niyo po, meron sa Luzon, meron sa Visayas, at meron po sa Mindanao. Opo.
Yeah.
So, yes, Sir Cito.
Go ahead.
Yes po. So, yung pong 3 GRS na yon, siya po yung bibig. Bibig dahil siya po yung nagsasend ng command. Sasabihin po natin sa satellite, saan ka tututok mamaya o bukas?
Sino sisilipan mo?
Tama po.
Sino gusto ko makita?
Eksakto po. Opo.
Tilt camera.
Correct. Tama po. Ganun po talaga siya. So, saan ka, kasi kumbaga, limitado lang po yung paningin ng satellite. So, kailangan mo sabihin, sige, para bukas, ito ang schedule mo, ito ang mga sisilipin mo. Halimbawa, lalo na po ngayon, kadadaan lang po ng bagyong Jolina. Ibig sabihin po, we are proactive in sending instructions to monitor kung ano po yung nangyari, lalo na sa mga binahang area. So yun po. So we have all these facilities, and over the couple of years, ang nangyayari po, we invite especially mga students, guests, even dignitaries from abroad, bisitahin nyo itong magandang world-class facility po natin dito sa ASTI. Unfortunately, of course, with the COVID situation, natigil po lahat ng kumbaga field trip na iyon. So since gusto pa rin namin mailapit yung konsepto ng satellite technology, lalo sa henerasyon ngayon, we have developed the ASTI Virtual Reality Simulation Application. So ginawa po namin, pag na-install po niyo ito sa mobile handset po ninyo, pwede kayong virtually bumisita po sa ASTI at sa different ground receiving stations para po makita ninyo virtually kung ano ba yung for example, ano po ba yung radome, ano po ba yung mga servers, ano pa ba yung mga equipment na kailangan makita to operate such facilities. Ang maganda po dito, ginawa po ito sa perspective ng kasalukuyang henerasyon. Alam niyo po, nung nilaunch po itong application na ito, tinanong ko may anak po ako, 7 years old, tinanong ko po siya, alam mo ba kung ano yung satellites? This is a 7-year-old child. Sabi niya, Yes, are these the floating objects in space? Medyo nagulat po ako. Kasi for a 7-year-old, nung 7-year-old po ako, hindi ko maalala na may
Mm.
alam na sa satellite. So ganun po ka-advance yung kabataan ngayon. And of
Well,
course, we are, opo,
sir, medyo ako, I'm, I'm 65, and watching this video of all of these GRS, these facilities in Davao, Iloilo,
yes po,
etc., and Quezon City,
yes po.
it corrects me, it humbles me to realize that Filipinos can, and that we are the DOST-ASTI is already moving forward. Hindi tayo yung naka-landline, may party line, tayo ay may satellites na, and we have nanotechnology that is being made by Filipinos.
Totoo po kayo. Nasa punto na naman po kayo. Yun po talaga yung gusto nating i-drive. Filipinos are really excellent researchers. We are recognized as good innovators sa maraming bansa po sa buong mundo. And we are, sinasabi nila, efficient researchers. Bakit po tinatawag na efficient researchers? Aminin po natin, among the different countries, yung pondo po na naibibigay for research and development, napakaliit. Sorry, pero yun po yung
Please,
katotohanan. Napakaliit lang po ng porsyento niya sa budget
don't
po
get
ng
me
Pilipinas.
started kasi baka ako makalimutan na kung nagsabi kay Lord na nagbagong buhay na ako, may mamura na naman ako. Dahil
Opo.
yan nga ang challenge, mga kaibigan. Those of you viewing us, you already saw proof of concept, proof of work with the DOST-ASTI. In the last 2 years, we have seen how RITM personnel got sick, struggled doing the research, trying to give us a better situation, better quality of life. Pagkatapos yung mga politika, ginugupit-gupit po ang mga pondo ng ASTI, DOST, RITM. Anyway, I will get back at them. Iisa-isahin ko sila pagdating ng kampanya. Huwag ka mag-alala. Pero we're running out of time. So, I promise we'll do more with you in the future. But at the moment, how does it look? You have 8 scholars ba yun? 8 Filipino scholars instrumental in developing the satellite. I think, yeah, here's their name. Gladys Baharo, Derek Canceran, Brian Custodio, Lorilyn Daquiaog, Mariel Magbanwa Gregorio, Christy Raterta, Judiel Reyes, and Renzo Wee. Saan mo nahanap itong mga geniuses na ito?
Opo, una clarify ko rin that we are doing this in partnership with an academic institution, specifically po sa University of the Philippines. So nag-establish po ng graduate program specifically on this track. So na-recognize po natin na kailangan maging sustainable po ito. So we need sustainable scientists and engineers. So kailangan merong kurso, postgraduate, masteral program that would support such program. So nangyayari po ito sa UP Electrical and Electronics Engineering Institute. So of course, let's say yearly we
Baka
send
hindi mo napansin. Baka hindi mo napansin. Nakamaroon.
Nakamaroon.
UP Maroons. Okay. So sustainable. It has to be sustainable. So there must be an educational program,
Right.
whether it's college, it will be a master's, a PhD program, but it is something. Okay, ganito na lang, Franz, no? We will give, I'm sure you must have noticed that the agenda gives a lot more time to DOST than into politics. So we will bring you back para lalo natin mapagkwentuhan itong how to become a scientist, how to become a space cadet, a researcher for space, and sayang hindi natin mapapag-usapan yung tourism, di ba? Space tourism. Kung may $200,000 kayo, you will be allowed to spend 5 minutes in space. Okay. Pero anyway, Franz, I'll have to go for now, but thank you for your time. I think it's an eye-opener for our viewers, but more power to DOST-ASTI. and we will bring you back here on Agenda.
Salamat, Cito. Always a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Okay, yan po si Franz de Leon. I'm really sorry. We are kind of tight for space for time today. It's our last 1 minute. I'm Cito Beltran thanking you for joining us today on Agenda. We hope that you will contact us. Let us know what kind of topics, programs, or who are the people you would like to hear from more here on Agenda. God bless all of you. Keep it here on One News.